Colorado High School Activities Association baseball is on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. From Fort Morgan Legion Field, the Fort Morgan Mustangs face the University Bulldogs. Good afternoon, I'm Kevin Fergus. Alec Creighton behind the sound engineer board today, and our first pitch from Frank Urias is a ball. And first pitch, 56 degrees. And that's ball number 2 by Frank. 56 degrees, Bailey Mechanical. When your temperature is not quite right, call your Lennox dealer, Bailey Mechanical, 970-522-0471. And that is ball number 3 to the batter, Caden Turk from the University Bulldogs. Caden Turk hitting .314 on the season. And that pitch is in the dirt, so a leadoff walk to start the game for the University Bulldogs. We'll do starting lineups. Morgan Community College, start your associate degree, continue your education, or get a specialized certificate. Visit morgancc.edu for more. So for your Fort Morgan Mustangs, Frank Urias is on the hill for the Stangs, and Chase Prouty's behind the plate. Jaden Carrera at third, Cooper Chisholm at short, and the pitch from Frank Urias. And that ball's behind the batter. And with that ball, Caden Turk trots down to second base on the wild pitch. Continue around, so we got Carrera at third, Chisholm at short, Isaiah Ortiz at second, Royer Alvarez at first, Samson Ortega in left, Angel Lopez in center, Riley Elrick in right. And that sets a lineup for your Mustangs. The hitter for the University Bulldogs is Brody Duran, the designated hitter. And that pitch to Duran is a ball. So 6 pitches to start the game out of the zone from Frank Urias. The pitch is on its way, and that is upstairs. 7 pitches in a row. Runner at second is Caden Turk. Brody Duran is at the plate. Frank Urias, 7.95 ERA in 12 1/3 innings. And the pitch in the dirt, ball 4, and runners at first and second. Well, on that pitch, Caden Turk moved up to third base as the pitch was in the dirt. So Turk takes third on the pass ball. So we got runners at first and third, nobody out. Will Corby to the plate for the University Bulldogs. Not a good way for the Mustangs to start as they come into the game 5-6, and the Mustangs are 0-2 in league, and they're on a 4-game losing streak. Not a good way to start with runners at first and third, nobody out. Number 3 hitter at the plate, and that's a strike to the left-handed hitting Will Corby. As I mentioned, Frank Urias, 7.95 ERA in 12 1/3 innings. In those 12 1/3 innings, he has 21 base on balls and 22 strikeouts. The pitch outside, and the ball's down to on the stolen base attempt. And Turk remains at third, and Brody Duran steals second. So runners at second and third. Nobody out here on the top of the first inning between the University Bulldogs, 9-3, and they are 1-1 in league. And that pitch swung at and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Frank Urias ahead in the count to Will Corby. Will Corby will be the pitcher for the University Bulldogs. Frank Urias, the 1-2 pitch. Curveball, strike 3, looking. Nice pitch. 1 out in the inning. And that brings to the plate Preston Natividad, hitting .344 on the season. Natividad, 11 hits and 11 RBIs, and also has 5 doubles. Natividad will play third base for University today. Pitch from Frank Urias, and that pitch is outside, ball 1. No score here on the top of the first inning between the University Bulldogs and the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Head coach Casey Miller in the third base coach's box. pitch. And that ball hit on the ground to shortstop Cooper Chisholm over to first, 6-3 on the putout. And on that, Caden Turk comes in and scores. So University takes a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. And the runner moved up to third base. So Brody Durant's at third. University scored 1 run here in the top of the first. No hits at this point. And that pitch, a strike to the catcher for the University Bulldogs, Max Davis. Max Davis hitting .321 on the season from the left side. Urias, the pitch, inside. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Urias gets a sign from his catcher, Chase Prouty, the pitch. And that ball is fouled back into the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Line score at this point, University 1 run, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Their strike number 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the sophomore catcher, Max Davis. I got ahead in the count. Sorry about that. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and that ball swung at and missed, strike 3. So Fort Morgan gets out of the mix with only just giving up 1 run. So 1 run on no hits. There were no Fort Morgan errors, and there's 1 runner left on base. So after 1/2 inning of play, University 1, Fort Morgan Mustangs coming to the plate. You're listening to the Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Kevin Fergus with you today. University and Fort Morgan are playing baseball at Legion Field in Fort Morgan on West Street, just south of the railroad tracks. If you've never ever been here before, this has been a long-time field for the Mustangs and the baseball program. Cooper Chisholm will be leading off for the Mustangs. Isaiah Ortiz will hit second. Riley Elrick hits third. Chase Prouty will hit fourth. Miguel Davila will be the DH and hit fifth. Jaden Carrera hits sixth. Samson Ortega hits seventh. Angel Lopez hits eighth. Frank Urias hits ninth. And Royer Alvarez is playing first base, but he's DH'd for by Miguel Davila. So that takes care of Fort Morgan's lineup. For University, Isaac Dellinger will be in left field. Gage Viken in center field. Evan Davey Anderson will be in right field. Preston Natividad will be at third. Joel Ramirez at shortstop. Caden Turk at second base. Medardo Abrego is the first baseman. And behind the plate is Max Davis, and Will Corby is on the hill for the University Bulldogs. Will Corby has a 1-1 record, a 1.20 ERA in 11 2/3 innings pitched. In those 11 2/3 innings, he's given up 9 base on balls and 19 strikeouts. Cooper Chisholm comes to the plate for the Mustangs here in the bottom of the first inning. Cooper Chisholm hitting .371, 13 hits, 18 RBIs. And that pitch to Chisholm is a ball way out of the zone. So I think I pretty much have everybody situated. And now let's just play some baseball. Beautiful blue sky. Pitch from Corby. Outside. 2 balls, no strikes to Cooper Chisholm. Mustangs last week had a rough week. 0 for 3 on the week. And that pitch, check swing and to the third base dugout, foul. The Mustangs had tied Eaton up 9-9, and then they end up losing to Eaton 13-11. They had Sterling down 6-1 and lost 10-6. And then on Saturday, they ran into a buzzsaw, and that pitch was fouled by Chisholm to the left side over to the Morgan dugout. And they were just blitzed by Alameda. Alameda beat them 16-4. And prior to that, Fort Morgan had lost to Roosevelt 15-4. So Mustangs are on a 4-game losing streak. Sure love to be able to get off that schneid today. 2-2 pitch to Cooper Chisholm. The pitch, strike 3. Right down the middle. Bat still on the shoulder. Corby throws from the left side, and Cooper Chisholm hits from the left side. So he probably doesn't see too many left-handed pitchers, and Corby just put that pitch right where Chisholm was thinking. He wasn't looking there anyway. So coming to the plate, Isaiah Ortiz to the plate. Curveball by Corby, a strike on the outside corner at the knees. University with a 1-0 lead as we're in the bottom of the first inning. Left-handed pitching Corby pitches, and that ball is in the dirt and to the screen. Count evens at 1. One ball, one strike to Isaiah Ortiz. The pitch, and that ball fouled. Josh Langford, 2 hops, 1 over to Preston Natividad at third, and then back to the pitcher, Will Corby. One ball, 2 strikes, the pitch, and that ball, 2 hopper to the shortstop, Joel Ramirez, over to first. 6-3 on the putout. 2 outs in the inning. Riley Elrick comes to the plate for the Mustangs, hitting .367, 11 hits, 9 RBIs. And Riley has 11 base on balls that he's drawn on the season. Riley is playing right field today for the Mustangs. Corby with the sign from Max Davis, curveball, strike 1. Seems like he's throwing that breaking ball consistent first pitch to the hitters from the left side, and that pitch, Elrick out on his front foot and half swings, but nonetheless a strike. So Elrick down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Corby the pitch, and that ball swung at and missed, strike 3. 1-2-3 for the Mustangs. University Bulldogs with a 1-0 lead after 1. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Kevin Fergus with you on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Mustangs go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first inning, facing the University Bulldogs. University Bulldogs come in to brush with a 9-3 record. And I don't know, it's just kind of strange just how they played all their games. They lost 2 games right off the beginning of the season. They lost to Colorado Academy 4-3, and they lost to Holy Family 8-5. But then they ended up going on a winning streak. They beat Falcon 2-0, Delta 7-1, Coleridge 4-3, Elizabeth 6-4, Wellington 4-1, North Fork 13-0, Bennett 6-2, and Classical Academy 6-5. So what's that? That's a 8-game winning streak. And then they ended up losing their first league game to Res Christian, and Res Christian beat them 4-3 last Tuesday, and then University did beat Liberty Common 14-5 to give them their 1-1 record in league. Fort Morgan 0-2 in league, 5-7 overall. Pitch from Frank Urias, check swing, strike 1 to the first baseman, Medardo Abrego. And I got to go to the page number 2. Abrego hitting .273 on the season. Pitch from Urias, a ball out of the zone and up. 1 ball, 1 strike. University with a 1-0 lead in the second inning. And that pitch to Abrego upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. The managers for the Fort Morgan Mustangs are in the booth next to me, so we talk back and forth. And that ball hit by Abrego out towards left center field, and home run. That ball probably 350, 360, and Abrego got all of it to give the University Bulldogs 2-0 lead here in the top of the second inning. Gage Viken will come to the plate. Gage Viken for the Bulldogs, hitting .306, 11 hits, 8 RBIs. Viken hits from the left side. University wearing their white pants with their navy blue tops, gray numerals and lettering. And that pitch from Urias outside, ball 1. Frank Urias throws from the south side. Pitch from Urias outside. 2 balls, no strikes to Gage Viken. University scored 1 run in the first inning without a hit, and they scored their second run on 1 swing. Pitch to Viken, a strike, 2 balls and a strike. Urias the pitch, and that ball hit out to first base through his glove, and then Frank Urias wasn't able to get there on time. We'll call it an error on the play on the first baseman, since he did get glove on it, on the hard grounder. So Viken at first, Joel Ramirez comes to the plate. Ramirez hitting .152 on the season, but slick fielding shortstop for the Bulldogs. Casey Miller's squad, very good fielding team. .944 is their fielding percentage. Pick off at first, back safely. So in University's 12 games, they've made 18 errors. See Fleisch's signs. See if he has anything on. And that ball swung at and missed by Ramirez. Strike 1. No balls and a strike to Ramirez. The pitch from Urias. Pitch is upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike to the junior shortstop for the University Bulldogs. Beautiful day, goodness, not a cloud in the sky. Maybe not as warm as what it was this last Friday and Saturday, but comfortable today. And that ball fouled back into the screen. Urias ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. University scored in the first inning on 2 base on balls and a ground out. And in the second inning on a home run by Medardo Abrego. Pickoff over to first base to keep Gage Viken close. Number 22, Joel Ramirez at the plate, digs in. Urias, pickoff over to first base to Royer Alvarez. Safe. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch is on its way upstairs, ball 2, and we've got a caught stealing. Nice throw by Chase Prouty to Isaiah Ortiz. Puts the tag on, so Viken is out. Caught stealing, 2-4 on the put out. So 1 out in the inning. Ramirez, the 2-2 pitch, and that ball fouled back into the screen. University, in their 12 games played, they've got 21 stolen bases. So it's not like they run all the time, but yet they do. And base hit by Ramirez, who's got wheels, and he's got a hustle double. As the ball was hit down the right field line past the first baseman, Riley Elrick over to pick it up, but by that point, Joel Ramirez had decided he was going to second, and he was halfway to second by the time Elrick picked up the ball and threw it in. So a hustle double. Nice job by Ramirez. Isaac Dellinger comes to the plate, .333 on the season, 11 hits. University, they have 4 of their hitters all have 11 hits. And that ball bunted foul. Strike one. So Ramirez on at second, Dellinger at the plate. Dellinger is the senior left fielder for Casey Miller's Bulldog squad. And a pick to second, Urias to Chisholm, safe as Ramirez back in under the tag. The 0-1 pitch on its way. That pitch is outside. One ball, one strike to Dellinger. Frank Urias on the hill and a curveball. Strike two. Outside corner at the knees. The Mustangs with their white pants, pinstripes, maroon tops, white lettering with piping. And that pitch is up and out of the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the second inning, University with a 2-0 lead. The pitch from Urias, swung at and missed, and in the dirt. Prouty throws down to first to Alvarez for the out, and on the throwdown, Ramirez advances to third base. So 2 outs in the inning. Caden Turk, top of the order at bat. He walked on 4 pitches. And that pitch just outside, ball 1. Caden Turk, the second baseman for the Bulldogs today. And that ball hit out to second base. And Isaiah Ortiz reaches up, grabs it, the line drive for the out. So for University, they score 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 Fort Morgan error, and there was 1 runner left on base. So after 1.5 innings of play, University 2, Fort Morgan 0. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Field, Legion Field in Fort Morgan on West Street. Mustangs trail the University Bulldogs 2-0. Chase Prouty comes to the plate in the bottom of the second inning. Prouty, the senior catcher for the Mustangs. Prouty hitting .429 on the season with 15 hits, 7 RBIs. 15 hits leads the Mustangs. .429 average leads the Mustangs. Chase Prouty just has a nice stroke. I really like his approach at the plate, and he'll take what's pitched to him, and if the pitch is there in order to hit it the opposite direction, he does that. He did that against Eaton last week. A number of the Morgan hitters inside outed the pitch, Corby the pitch, and that pitch started him off with a curveball, and that one dropped out of the zone. 1 ball, no strikes to number 19, Chase Prouty. But Morgan has a nice approach in being able to take those off-speed pitches and hit them the other way. That pitch is in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes to Chase Prouty. Will Corby, the left-hander for University Bulldogs on the hill, and Prouty pops that up a mile high to left field. Left fielder back, and makes the grab for the first out. I made it sound like he was going back, but he did just move back, and he still had another 10 steps before he got to the warning track. So there was plenty of room for the left fielder, Isaac Dellinger, in order to be able to haul that ball in, hit by Chase Prouty. Miguel Davila with the open stance, choked up just slightly, the pitch, and Davila. Check swing, strike 1. University with a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the second inning. Corby, the pitch to Max Davis. His battery mate, that pitch is in the dirt. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. Fort Morgan Mustangs looking to get off the schneid tonight. See if they can get a W. That pitch from Corby is outside. That curveball, he did not get on top of it, and it just was a roundhouse, and it just stayed outside and never had a chance at being able to get to the plate. So 2 balls and a strike to Davila. And that ball fouled up and over the screen, out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to number 6, Miguel Davila, the DH for the Mustangs today. The 2-2 pitch is on its way. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Payoff pitch is upcoming. And that pitch is outside. So Davila walks here in the bottom of the second inning. Jaden Correa comes to the plate for the Mustangs. 242 on the season, 7 RBIs, junior third baseman. Davila leads off at first with the left-handed pitcher, and he just got picked off. He had about a 3-step lead, and on the first motion of Corby, he ended up leaning towards second base, and he just got picked off. So Jaden Carrera will be at the plate. With 2 outs. Corby, the pitch outside and high. Max Davis couldn't even corral that pitch from Will Corby. The 1-0 offering on its way outside. 2 balls, no strikes. And that pitch is out of the zone. 3 balls, no strikes to Jaden Carrera. Miguel Davila, he just got caught leaning the wrong way, and that left-handed pitcher snapped it off and got him. Pitch taking was Carrera, strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. University with a 2-0 lead over the Fort Morgan Mustangs. The 3-1 pitch on its way and up and over the screen, fouled. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jaden Carrera resets, steps in the box, taps his helmet. He's ready. The pitch from Corby on its way, swung at and missed. Fouled off here at the plate. thought when foul tips were at the plate, the umpire would put his hands up saying, no, got a foul. He didn't do that. That's why I was confused as to what that exactly was. The payoff pitch on its way, outside. Base on ball, number 2 from Will Corby. That pitch was outside, so Jaden Carrera goes down to first base. And I'm sure by now all the Mustangs know, hey, Corby has a good move. So on first move, don't go towards second. Make sure he's going to the plate. Samson Ortega comes to the plate for the Mustangs with 2 outs. And that pitch, strike on the outside corner at the knees. Samson Ortega hitting .233 on the season. Also has 10 RBIs, but Samson also has 4 hit by pitches. So the 0-1 pitch, curveball, outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. University with a 2-0 lead. Corby steps off. Runner returns to first. Wipes the ball. Samson Ortega steps in and swings at that pitch and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ortega. 2 outs here, bottom of the second inning. Josh Langford, third base coach's box for the Mustangs. Pitch, and that ball fouled into the screen. Staying alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carrera at first via the base on ball. The 1-2 pitch, and that ball popped out of play. Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the second inning. The offering on its way in the dirt. Max Davis keeps it in front of him. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the second inning, University with a 2-0 lead over the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Number 20, Samson Ortega steps in. Ortega, the left fielder for the Mustangs today. Pitch. That ball swung at and missed, strike 3. So for the Mustangs, no runs, no hits, no University errors. Was 1 runner left on base after 2 complete innings of play. University 2, Fort Morgan nothing. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Frank Urias on the hill for the Mustangs. Chase Prouty behind the plate. For University, they have 2 runs on 2 hits, and they've left 2 runners on base. The Mustangs, no runs, no hits. They have 1 error, and they've left 1 runner left on base. Urias finishes up his warm-up tosses. Brody Duran will come to the plate. Duran walked his first time in the first inning. Upcoming games of University. University will play Brush on Wednesday at the Greeley University High School. And then next Friday, University and Eaton play. Next week, Sterling and University. And then next Saturday, the following Saturday, the 28th, University and Prospect Ridge play. That pitch from Frank Urias in the dirt. Brody Duran skips through that. If he had a jump rope, it would have worked out ideally. 1 ball, no strikes, the pitch. And that ball hit towards third, past shortstop, out to left field for the base hit for Brody Duran on the, let's say, medium ground ball, but it just found the hole. So he's on at first. Will Corby comes to the plate. Corby hits from the left side, left-handed hitter, left-handed pitcher. The Mustangs play University tonight. Wednesday they play Valley here in Fort Morgan. Friday they play Platte Valley here in Fort Morgan. That pitch, a strike to Will Corby. Mustangs have a full slate of games this next week, 3 games this week. And pick off at first, safe. Corby wears number 0. Pitch from Frank Urias. No, pick off over to first base. Royer Alvarez puts the tag on. Brody Duran in safe. Duran, a freshman designated hitter. And that pitch hits Corby as he turns away from it. It hit him kind of on the right shoulder, middle of the back. So anyway, he'll trot down to first base after the hit by pitch. And looks like we will have a courtesy runner. Courtesy runner is number 24, Robbie Avery. Courtesy runner for the pitcher. So Avery on it first, Duran on it second. Preston Natividad to the plate. Natividad, 11 hits, 11 RBIs, 5 doubles. The pitch, strike. Belt high, inside corner. University with a team batting average of .281. The pitch, and that ball is fouled out of play. So Urias ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Just everything University does, they do it well. I mean, their team fielding, 944, which is excellent. Curveball, strike 3. Nice curveball by Frank Urias to get the strikeout. And the batter was not swinging, so out number 1. So that's Urias' second strikeout on the day. 1 hit by pitch and 2 base on balls. And that ball bunted out to Urias at third. And out at third. Nice play by Urias. He picks it up and throws to Jaden Carrera. And they get the out at third base. Nice play. So on the fielder's choice, here pitcher to third base, out. So that's out, and that would be a force out. Safe and safe. So Avery on at second. Davis on at first. Medardo Abrego, Mr. Home Run, is at the plate, and that pitch is upstairs. A ball, 1 ball, no strikes to Abrego. Abrego, as I mentioned, .273 on the season, but that's University's first home run as a team. That pitch is out of the zone, 2 balls, no strikes. 2 outs in the inning. Pitch is all the way to the screen on the wild pitch. Runners move up to second and third. So runners at second and third. 3-0 count on Abrego, the senior first baseman for the University Bulldogs today. University with a 2-0 lead. The pitch, and that pitch is inside, low and inside, ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Abrego trots down to first base. Gage Viken comes to the plate. University, they can go right, left, right. And now they have another left-handed hitter in Gage Viken. And that ball popped out to right in front of the plate. Chase Prouty corrals it, throws it to Royer Alvarez for the out. So University, no runs, 1 hit. There was no Fort Morgan errors, and there was 3 runners left on base. So after 2.5 innings of play, University 2, Fort Morgan 0. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan Baseball, Legion Field, Fort Morgan, Colorado, playing the University Bulldogs today. University in their 3 innings have scored 2 runs. The Mustangs in their 2 innings at bat have 0, and so the Mustangs need to get to where they can get some base hits and get some runs across the plate. So I mentioned they've playing University today. They've got Valley on Wednesday. They've got Platte Valley on Friday. The Valley game will not be on the radio, as Brush and University will be playing. That'll be on 1010 KSIR. The Platte Valley game on Friday, this Good Friday the 18th, that will be on B106, and that'll be Fort Morgan and Platte Valley right here in Fort Morgan. Next week, Fort Morgan plays Weld Central and Strasburg. So that catches you up kind of schedule-wise as to what's upcoming. Will Corby with the pitch. The pitch is outside. Ball 1 to Angel Lopez. University on the day, 2 runs, 3 hits. Fort Morgan, no runs on no hits, and that ball swung at and missed by Lopez. I'm bragging on the Mustangs and how they hit last week, and so far Corby has not allowed them a hit, and that ball is fouled back into the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lopez. Number 1 on his back and center fielder for the Mustangs. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 3rd inning. University 2, Fort Morgan 0. And that ball fouled at the plate. Will Corby, I mean, they're just some of these kids, the Patriot League, that they just seems like they've been around forever. And that ball hits Lopez in the foot, and he trots down to first base on the hit by pitch. Frank Urias comes to the plate, number 7 on his back. As I mentioned, Fort Morgan has their white pants with pinstripes and their maroon tops with white lettering, black piping. So runner at first, Lopez, Urias at the plate, Corby on the hill, and over to first base, safe. On the move towards first, Urias was squaring around. Whether that's just a decoy or not, we will see. Josh Langford flashing the signs. And to the plate, and that ball's popped up. And the catcher couldn't quite get there, about a foot and a half short of being able to catch that in foul ground. So just a long pop foul, 12 feet away from the home plate. So no balls and a strike to Frank Urias, the sophomore. Urias hitting .217 on the season. Leads the team in hit by pitch. He has 5. Now he squares around again, and that ball is foul. So no balls, 2 strikes. Lopez at first, Urias at the plate. Third baseman playing in at the edge of the grass. Pitch, and that ball popped out of play. That's going to be out of play all the way. So no balls, 2 strikes here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Nobody out. Runner at first. Angel Lopez at first. Will Corby, the pitch to the plate. That pitch just outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top of the order, Cooper Chisholm on deck. If Urias can make something happen and move the runner up, top of the order should be able to get him in, and that pitch is upstairs. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch on its way, and we got a pickoff, and we are going to be safe at second base. So on the motion, runner Lopez takes off. Corby throws over to first base Abrego. Abrego gets the ball and throws down to Joel Ramirez, and they don't get the tag down. So runner at second, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Corby calls timeout to the field umpire. Calls for his catcher, Max Davis, to come out. Hey, let's talk just real quick, make sure we're on the same page. Not a bad idea. As I mentioned, Urias, number 9, top of the order coming up for the Mustangs. 2-2 pitch, strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Will Corby. Pitch was on the outside corner at the knees, curveball. So Lopez at second base, 1 out. Shortstop is into the edge of the grass. Third baseman, the edge of the grass. Pitch, curveball. Strike 1. To the sophomore, Cooper Chisholm. Sophomore shortstop. Corby, the sign from Davis, the pitch. And that ball fouled. No balls, 2 strikes to Chisholm. Chisholm came into the game hitting .371, 13 hits, 18 RBIs. RBI situation right here with a runner at second base. 1 out for your Mustangs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. University with a 2-0 lead. Pitch from Corby to the plate in the dirt. Davis covers it up. One ball, 2 strikes. Train goes by. Thing is loud. They don't blow their horn anymore when they go through Fort Morgan. The 1-2 pitch from Corby. Nope. Back to second base. Nope. No pick off. when I was growing up and playing baseball here, the trains would go through and they'd blow their horn off with a pitch, and he has to go back to second and out. So pop up to the third baseman, Natividad over to the second baseman, Caden Turk, and so we've got 5-4 for the double play to end the inning. So for the Mustangs, no runs, no hits, no errors for University, and the Mustangs don't leave anybody on base. So after 3 complete innings of play, University 2, Fort Morgan 0. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on 106.3 B106 in the Eastern Plains Sports Network. University Bulldogs with a 2-0 lead after 3 innings facing the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Mustangs base running just got a little bit out of hand. He was stealing on the pitch, and Chisholm popped it up to the third baseman. Third baseman, after he catches it, and Lopez was going back to second, but he just didn't quite get there in time. And so 5-4 on the putout. And so the threat that the Mustangs had was foiled. Mustangs still without a hit. University 2 runs on 3 hits. Mustangs no runs, no hits. And Joel Ramirez, who had a hustle double his last at bat, comes to the plate. Frank Urias, the pitch, low and away. Urias assigned from Prouty. Pitch, strike inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Through the 3 innings that Urias has been pitching, 55 pitches and 28 strikes, 56 pitches, 28 strikes, 28 balls. And the game time, we're 56 minutes into the game. How about that? Urias, the pitch, and that ball back up the middle. Chisholm on 2 hops over to first base, 6-3 on the putout. Nice play by Cooper Chisholm. Ball could have been fielded by Urias at the mound, but it just got over his glove. But Chisholm was shading towards second base and was right there in order to be able to make the play. Nice play by Cooper Chisholm. Isaac Dellinger comes to the plate. Strike at the knees to Dellinger. Dellinger, number 4 on his back, the left fielder. And that pitch is upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dellinger. Mustangs playing straight up baseball. Pitch on the defensive side of things is outside. 2 balls and a strike. Ortega in left, Lopez in center, Elric in right. Urias on the hill to Chase Prouty. That ball foul down the third base line. Jaden Carrera at third, Cooper Chisholm at short, Isaiah Ortiz at second, Royer Alvarez, the first baseman for the Mustangs today. That pitch, Urias reached back for a little bit extra. Pitch was a ball up and out of the zone. 3 balls and a strike. Swung at. It was 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that pitch was in the dirt, and Chase Prouty picks it up and throws him out on the drop third strike. I didn't punch in the foul ball down the third baseline, so we'll do that, and then we'll do a drop third strike and go catcher to first base. 2-3 on the putout. Caden Turk comes to the plate. Pitch to Turk at the knees, a strike. Turk wears number 9 on his back. And that pitch, breaking ball, inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't know where that pitch was, but the umpire called it a ball because it looked like it was a strike from right here. 2 balls and a strike, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. University Bulldogs. That ball hit 1 hop, 2 hops, and it goes past Carrera out into short left field. I think it came off Carrera's glove, so we got to give him an error on that. So runner at first, Caden Turk, Brody Duran at the plate. Duran, the freshman designated hitter, number 26, his numeral. Urias to the plate, and that pitch is a ball. The offering to the plate, and that gets Duran on the backside. So a hit by pitch, and he trots down to first base. Urias with 2 hit by pitches today, 2 base on balls, 3 strikeouts. Chase Prouty goes out and talks to his pitcher. So runners at first and second for University here on the top of the 4th inning. There are 2 outs. Will Corby comes to the plate. And that ball grounded weakly. Chisholm picks it up, throws over to first base. 6-3 on the put out. So nice play by Chisholm as he aggressively goes after that ball and gets it and throws him out. 6-3 on the put out. So for University, no runs, no hits. 1 Fort Morgan error, and there were 2 runners left on base. So after 3.5 innings, we're halfway through this game. University 2, Fort Morgan 0. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 in the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan trails 2-0 to the University Bulldogs as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Mustangs with a 5-7 record, facing the 9-3 University Bulldogs. As I mentioned one day this past week, Fort Morgan this year in baseball, they're in the Patriot League. I'm not sure that Fort Morgan's in the Patriot League in any other sport. I used to, at one point in time, try to keep up with where all these teams were and how and why and everything else with enrollment and everything. But I've got no idea. I've got no idea how they determine leagues, classifications, because, you know, from football to basketball to wrestling and you know, even here in baseball, it's one of those where it's just difficult to figure that out. Corby, the pitch to Isaiah Ortiz, flew out to center field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Riley Elrick to the plate. As Fort Morgan is placed in 4A, but they're in the Patriot League. But I was looking ahead, and Platte Valley, who's traditionally been 3A, is still in the Patriot League. That pitch is outside, ball 1. But Platte Valley is in 2A. And it's like, I just don't understand that, because Kersey is a bigger school than maybe what Brush is, but yet they're playing 2A baseball, even though they're in the Patriot, and they're going to play everybody in the Patriot League. That pitch was outside, 2 balls, no strikes. So I have no idea how they determine all this. But all I do is just look at chassanow.com And that pitch is inside to Riley Elrick, 3-0 to Elrick. I think I mentioned Elrick led the team in 11 base on balls. The 3-0, and there's number 12 on his base on balls as he trots down to first base. So I don't fully understand how all this fits. This is the first time where, you're going to see a 4A Fort Morgan playing a 2A Platte Valley, even though it's a league game. And usually you don't see teams that jump 2 levels, in regard to playing a particular sport. Chase Prouty at the plate. Elrick leads off a short lead. And that pitch is in the dirt. I know Brush ended up playing Fowler, and I know Brush has another game with a 2A squad coming up, Lions. But Brush also has on the schedule Haxton, which is 1A. And that ball hit down the third baseline, foul by Prouty. Count evens at 1. Now, when Brush ended up playing Fowler was number 1 at that point in time of the season in RPI and the seeding index. Lions is considerably down, but Haxton in 1A, I think I saw their record. They're like 8-2, and they're in the top 3, I think, in 1A. So all those add up to the RPI with strength of schedule, your opponents, strength of schedule, and records, and everything else. Prouty down on the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fort Morgan trails the University Bulldogs 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Short lead by Elrick at first. Corby to the plate. And that pitch, strike 3. Outside corner at the knees. Pitch, nice pitch by Corby. But the bat was still on Prouty's back as he walks back to the dugout. Miguel Davila comes to the plate. He walked his last at bat, and he had a 3-step lead, and he got picked off at first. So when Elrick has a 2-step lead, these guys don't want to get picked off. 2.5-step lead, Davila, and he's back pick-off attempt, and Elrick is safe at first. Miguel Davila hitting .231, 3 hit by pitch. Open stance, hands down on the knob of the bat, and we got another pickoff and caught stealing as Corby picks Elrick off. So that was with 2 outs. And Elrick picked off, and so Davila will lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. So for the Mustangs, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. After 4 complete, University 2, Fort Morgan 0, you're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. In-game temperature is 59. It's gone up 3 degrees since the start of the game. Wind is calm. Sky is blue, not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful baseball weather for the Mustangs and the Bulldogs as they hook up at Legion Field this afternoon. Frank Urias finishes up his warm-up tosses. And Preston Natividad will come to the plate for the Bulldogs here in the top of the 5th inning. Preston Natividad 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded out and struck out. Frank Urias, 70 pitches. 35 strikes, 35 balls, and that pitch is inside. Ball 1. Frank Urias gets a sign from Chase Prouty, the pitch. That pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Count even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the 5th inning. Top of the 5th inning. And that pitch is inside, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Urias working quickly. That pitch is low. 3 balls, 1 strike to Preston Natividad. That ball hit out to left field, line drive, 1 hop to Samson Ortega. Ortega gets it in quickly as Natividad takes a big turn at first base. Base hit on the line drive to left field. Max Davis, sophomore catcher, hits from the left side, comes to the plate. That pitch to Davis, a ball. That pitch, a strike. Curveball took a little bit off. Pulled the string. 1 ball, 1 strike. To Davis here in the top of the 5th inning. Natividad at first. That ball fouled into the screen. Urias ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a pickoff over to first. Preston back in safely. Urias, Prouty working together. The pitch to the plate. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. It's one thing I noticed with University. They've not been, they only have 1 game that they've scored, 2 games that they've scored more than 10 runs. Against North Fork, 13-0, Liberty Common, 14-5. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch by Urias, and that ball upstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first, nobody out. See if Casey Miller puts him in motion. No. And that pitch is just outside, ball 4. Runners at first and second. Frank Urias sitting on 81 pitches. And number 30 comes in as a courtesy runner. Courtesy runner for the catcher. Medardo Abrego. The pitch is inside. So runners at first and second. Abrego, home run to give University a 2-0 lead in the second inning. Abrego, the first baseman, wears number 33 on his back. Runners in motion, and the ball hit out to left center field. Runner around third is going to score. Runner from first is rounding third, and he's going to come in, and he scores. University 4, Fort Morgan Mustangs nothing after the double by Abrego. Wow. Nice hit by Abrego on the hit and run. The ball gets all the way to the fence. So Abrego at second after the 2 RBIs. So Abrego with 3 of the RBIs today. 1 on the home run and on the hit and run double here in the top of the 5th inning. Coach Josh Langford out to talk to his infield. And he's going to leave Frank Urias on the hill. I thought maybe he might remove him. Stubbs, one-stop shopping does exist. Gas, food, and all your travel accessories. Get off I-76 at exit 66A in Wiggins to visit them. B&B Appliance, with over 30 years of experience, B&B Appliance can help match the appliances to your needs. Stop by 502 Ensign Street in Fort Morgan today. Yeah, maybe not now. They probably closed at 5. Maybe they're open till 5:30. So 2 runs in the inning. University with a 4-0 lead. Pitch by Gage Viken, and he started to square around but pulled back, and that pitch was a ball. So 1 ball, no strikes, and he attempted that, so that's a strike as he squared around. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. University with 2 runs in the inning to take the 4-0 lead, and that pitch, strike on the outside corner at the knees. Urias ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Urias has pitched well today, but Medardo Abrego has his number for sure. Double and a home run. That ball was fouled up over the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Viken, the junior second baseman. The offering, and that pitch just outside. Thought maybe Viken would offer at that, but did not. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th. The offering. And that ball, wild pitch. And so Abrego up to third base. That pitch, wild pitch, went all the way to the screen. Prouty gets it, but Abrego moved in. Now Fort Morgan's going to move in. Everybody to the edge of the grass, cut everything off. Nobody out. Pitch, and that ball to the Fort Morgan Mustang dugout, foul. So the Mustangs, if balls hit right at them, they'll be able to pick it up and throw it to the plate to Prouty. Throw a strike to Prouty, get the out at the plate. Pitch, full count, was in the dirt, and so out to first base is Gage Viken, and Josh Langford is going to make a change. So let's take 30 seconds, and as they make this change, we'll get the lineup changes, and we'll go from there. University 4-0 over the Mustangs. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan Mustangs with a pitching change here in the top of the 5th inning. Nobody out, and 2 runs are in, and runners are at first and third. Cooper Chisholm will come to the hill in relief of Frank Urias. Frank Urias goes to first base. Luis Hernandez into the game at third base, and Jaden Carrera moves over to shortstop. So now we've got Ortega in left, Lopez in center, Elric in right, Hernandez at third, Carrera at second, or shortstop, Ortiz at second, Urias at first. Prouty is still behind the plate, and now we have Cooper Chisholm on the hill. And Mustangs, Cooper Chisholm, 3.75 ERA, 2-2 record, 18 2/3 innings, 10 base on balls, 27 strikeouts for Cooper Chisholm. So for University, Medardo Medardo Abrego at third base, Gage Viken at first, nobody out, and the junior Joel Ramirez to the plate. The pitch from Chisholm off of Prouty's glove and safe at the plate. So University with a 5-0 lead on the pass ball. So Ramirez, 1 ball, no strikes at the plate. Chisholm on the mound. Runner at second, and that pitch a strike. Count evens at 1. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. University with 3 runs here in the inning. Single runs in the first and the second inning to give them their 5. And that ball over to Hernandez at first and picks it, but then he throws it way away. And Gage Viken comes around and scores, and on the air by Hernandez, the runner Joel Ramirez goes to second. So got the air, grounder, third base, and he's going to score and goes there on the throw. So Dellinger comes to the plate. Chisholm on the hill for the Mustangs. Pitch just outside. 1 ball, no strikes. University with a 6-0 lead. 6 runs on 5 hits. Chisholm, that ball fouled at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mustangs, no runs, no hits. 3 errors on the day. Chisholm, the pitch. That ball in the dirt. 2-1 is the count. Cooper Chisholm, a sophomore. Coach Langford relies on him in big moments. That pitch just outside. 3 balls and a strike. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. And pick off, second base, and Ramirez back in safely. 3 balls, 1 strike to Isaac Dellinger, 0 for 2 on the day. Chisholm, the pitch, and that ball foul tip. Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Chisholm, the sign, the pitch, just outside, ball 4. So runners at first and second for the Bulldogs here in the top of the 5th inning. 4 runs are in. The big blow this inning was with runners at first and second and a hit and run, and Medardo Abrego hits a 2-run double to the fence. That ball was fouled out of play. Pitch from Chisholm, ball hit on the hit and run, and Ramirez is going to come around and score. And the single by Caden Turk just gets between the third base and the shortstop. So runners at first and third with the 5th run in the inning. University with a 7-0 lead. Brody Duran to the plate, 1 for 1 on the day. He's walked and single, and he has a base hit between third and short. 3-hopper out to left field. Run comes in. Isaac Dellinger scores the 8th run. So runners at first and second. Will Corby comes to the plate. Nobody out in the inning. That ball hit Corby. That's the second time that he's been hit by a pitch today. So he'll trot down to first base, and I would presume that Robbie Avery, number 24, comes out to be the courtesy runner. Coach Langford out to talk to Cooper Chisholm as well as the rest of the infielders. Rudy's Tires with several locations across the area. There's always a Rudy's Tire location close by. And they can come to you on the farm. Rudy's Tires brings you Eastern Plains Sports Today every weekday on 1010 KSIR. Visit rudystires.com for more. Coach Langford still talking to his charges. Sarah Boone, Farm Insurance. Sarah Boone with Farm Bureau Insurance. She is here to help. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Wiggins Electric. Count on Wiggins Electric for quick, efficient, and courteous service to keep you up and running. They provide you with the service and the products that you need at your most critical time. Coach Langford walking back to third base dugout. University with an 8-0 lead over the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Preston Natividad at the plate, 1 for 3 on the day. Chisholm on the hill, and that ball hit between third and short again, and 1 run in, and the second run in as the ball comes from the left fielder Ortega to Prouty. Prouty puts the tag on, but safe at the plate. So University with 2 more runs in the inning to give them a 10-0 lead on the single. To left field. And then the runners advance to second and third. So Avery's on at third, and Natividad is at second, and Josh Langford comes out and looking for somebody to be able to fill the gap here. So let's take a break as Coach Langford has a pitching change coming up. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan Mustangs make a change, and Cooper Chisholm will go back to shortstop. Samson Ortega comes in to pitch for the Mustangs, and Jaden Carrera goes to left field for the Mustangs. So, I need to fill my shortstop spot here back with Cooper Chisholm. So the Mustangs given up 8 runs in the inning on 5 hits, and there's been 1 error by the Mustangs. Runners are at second and third. Natividad at second. Avery, the courtesy runner for Will Corby, the pitcher, is at third. Max Davis comes to the plate. Josh Langford making a long walk back to the dugout. Mustangs without a hit today. University's a complete team. They hit the ball, they field the ball, they have good pitching. Their team ERA is 2.28. So Samson Ortega on the hill for the Mustangs. The pitch to Max Davis, fouled down the right field line. Samson Ortega, 13.12 ERA in 2 2/3 innings, 5 base on balls, and 1 strikeout. And that pitch offering was a ball. University with no outs here in the top of the 5th inning, 8 runs in. University with a 10-0 lead over the Fort Morgan Mustangs, and that pitch is in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike to the catcher, Max Davis. Davis 0 for 2 on the day, struck out, fielder's choice, and walked his last time at the plate. Pitch just inside. 3 balls, 1 strike to Max Davis. First base is open. Nobody out. University with 8 runs on 5 hits in the inning. Pitch, and that ball hit out to right field. Caught by Riley Elrick. Elrick with the relay into the plate, and the runner tags. Avery tags at third and comes in and scores the 11th run. Elrick with the out in right. So we've got a sacrifice fly situation. And then the runner moves from second to third. So 9 runs in the inning on the 5 hits. 1 Fort Morgan error. Medardo Abrego, 3 RBIs on the day. Home run in the 2nd inning. And to start this inning, he had a 2 RBI double to left center field. And that ball swung at and missed by Abrego. Samson Ortega ahead in the count. No balls and a strike. 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. University with 9 in the inning. 11-0 is the score. And that pitch low and inside to Abrego. Abrego doesn't get cheated on his swings, that's for sure. The pitch from Ortega in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike to Abrego. University's navy blue shirts just say dogs across the front. They are the Bulldogs. And that pitch, a strike to Abrego on the outside corner. Count evens at 2. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. University with a 11-0 lead over the Mustangs. The pitch from Ortega hit out to Chisholm at first, over to third, shortstop, and over to first. So 6-3 on the put out. The run comes in and scores. So 12-0. 2 outs in the inning. Gage Viken steps in. Samson Ortega gets a sign from Chase Prouty. Nobody on for the University Bulldogs here in the top of the 5th. That pitch, a ball outside to Gage Viken. Nobody on, but they've scored 10 in the inning. 12-0 over your Fort Morgan Mustangs. Kevin Fergus with you on B106. That pitch is in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. So Carrera in left, Lopez in center, Elrick in right, Hernandez at third, Chisholm at short. That pitch, a strike outside corner, belt high. Ortiz at second. Urias at first. Prouty behind the plate. Samson Ortega on the hill. Pitch. Hits the batter on lower leg. So he'll trot down to first base. Limp down to first base. Make it more dramatic that way. Joel Ramirez comes to the plate. Brush and University play on Wednesday in Greeley. That game will be on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan plays Valley on Wednesday, but that game will not be broadcast. And then Fort Morgan plays Platte Valley on this Good Friday, the 18th at 4 o'clock, and that'll be on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. That pitch from Ortega, a strike on the outside corner, belt high. University with a 12-0 lead over the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Runner leads off at first, pickoff attempt, back in safely. Joel Ramirez, the shortstop. Pitch. Strike 2, outside corner at the knees. The 0-2 pitch from Ortega to Prouty on its way, and that ball popped up. Urias in foul ground. Third out. So University 10 runs, 5 hits, 1 error from Fort Morgan, and 1 runner left on base. After 4.5 innings, University 12, Fort Morgan 0. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Mustangs trail the University Bulldogs 12-0 here in Fort Morgan. Beautiful day for baseball. Blue sky and temperature up to 59 degrees as Will Corby finishes his warm-up tosses. Miguel Davila comes to the plate. He was at the plate at the bottom of the last inning, and Riley Elrick got picked off on a caught stealing. Will Corby, left-hander, has a good move to first base. Picked off 2 runners on the day. Pitch from Corby, foul. Coach Langford reaches over one hand and snags that. So no balls, 1 strike to Miguel Davila, the open stance and the pitch. And that ball fouled down third baseline. So Davila down on the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Corby, the sign from Davis, the pitch. Swung at and missed, strike 3. 1 out, Mustangs down to their last 2 outs. Jaden Carrera comes to the plate. If this was my team, I wouldn't be saying this, but Fort Morgan does not have a hit. So let's put the jinx on University, and we'll get Jaden Carrera a hit here. That pitch is outside. Ball 1. Pitch from Corby, and that ball fisted towards first base. Abrego picks it up, steps on the bag for the second out. Samson Ortega comes to the plate. 2 outs. Line score, University 12 runs, 8 hits, no errors, 8 runners left. Fort Morgan 0 runs, 0 hits, 3 errors, and 1 runner left. Fort Morgan's been picked off twice off the bases. Corby on the verge of a no-hitter. The pitch to Ortega, and that ball hit out to right center field, and that's going to be enough in order to break up the no-hitter. And Ortega has a double. See, all I had to do is mention it, and we break up the no-hitter. So nice hit by Ortega. Ball that gets all the way to the fence in right center field. Angel Lopez comes to the plate. 2 outs for the Mustangs. This is the 5th inning, that 4 2/3 innings that Corby has pitched. That pitch is outside. 66 pitches in the 4 2/3 innings at this point. So out of those 66 pitches, 39 strikes. So he's not been great, but enough in order to keep Fort Morgan off balance. And that pitch swung at and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at second for the Mustangs. Samson Ortega with a double here in the bottom of the 5th inning to break up the no-hitter. Corby the pitch, and that ball hit a single to right field as it get past the second baseman. And Ortega comes in and scores. Nice job. Good base running. Good piece of hitting by Angel Lopez as he gets a single to right field past the second baseman on the hard grounder. And Ortega, good base running as he rounded third and comes in and scores. So University 12, Fort Morgan 1. Frank Urias to the plate. Short lead at first. The pitch. Ball 1. That pitch was just out of the zone, low. So 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. And Corby just has that to where he throws over to first. I mean, it's a deceptive move. It really is. And I think that's how he's been able to get his pickoffs today. It's Lopez first, and that ball hit out to center field. And that ball's going to drop for a single. And the right fielder picks it up, throws to Natividad at third. So that ball just landed between the second baseman, center fielder, and the right fielder for the Mustangs' 3rd hit in the inning. So runners at first and third for the Mustangs. Casey Miller is going to come out and talk to Will Corby. Corby's not really had to pitch hard today or anything, but he came into the inning and no hitter on the line, and he's given up three hits. And that last one was a seeing eye hit, as it just happened to find some green grass in short right center field between 3 fielders. Nothing that they could do about that. And for the Mustangs, pinch hitter coming in, Jordan Perez is going to hit for Cooper Chisholm. So Jordan Perez to the plate. Mustangs with 1 run on 3 hits here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jordan Perez to the plate. Isaiah Ortiz on deck. Mustangs with runners at first and third. Don't take too big of a lead over at first. And that pitch in the dirt, and everybody's going to move up. Fort Morgan's going to score their second run. And Urias to second. So Lopez comes in and scores on the wild pitch. And to second base on that same wild pitch, Urias goes to second. So Jordan Perez ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. University 12, Fort Morgan 2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Fort Morgan fighting to stay alive. Pitch to Perez. A strike at the knees. Frank Urias scores. We go to the 6th inning. If Frank Urias does not come in and score, the game will be over. And that ball, a strike to Perez. Belt high, inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Urias leads off at second. Perez at the plate. Pitch from Corby. Swung at and missed. Strike 3. That's a ball game. University 12, Fort Morgan 2. Fort Morgan scores 2 runs on 3 hits, no University errors, and Fort Morgan leaves 1 runner on base. For the game, University 12, Fort Morgan 2. We'll take a break. We'll do a post-game wrap-up shortly. You're listening to Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Post-game show, Advanced Agri-Solutions. Water is a key to your crop success. Advanced Agri-Solutions has year-round and seasonal probes that will help make sure that you have the right amount of water. Call Roxy McCormick at 970-571-2024. The game basically come down to Will Corby for University pitcher. He had a no-hitter through the 4 innings. As we go into the 5th inning, then he gave up 3 hits. Corby had 7 strikeouts on the day and had 3 base on balls. So basically, Will Corby dominated from the outset, and but University, they end up scoring 1 run in the 1st inning, and they didn't have a hit. They had a couple base on balls, and they were able to score on a ground out. And then in the 2nd inning, Medardo Abrego hits a home run to give them a 2-0 lead. And then in the 5th inning, the barn door opened up and University scored 10 runs. A number of different ways that they ended up scoring, but nonetheless, they were down. Mustangs were down 12-0 going into the bottom of the 5th inning. Did not have a hit, and in that last inning, Fort Morgan was able to get 3 consecutive hits from Samson Ortega, a double, Angel Lopez, a single, Frank Urias a single, and then a pass ball, and Fort Morgan was able to score 2 runs. Nonetheless, Fort Morgan loses 12-2 to the University Bulldogs. University's record moves to 10-3 on the season, 2-1 in league. Fort Morgan drops to 5-8 on the season overall, and Fort Morgan is 0-3 in league. Again, Fort Morgan plays Valley on Wednesday. That game will not be broadcast. Brush Beat Diggers plays University in Greeley, and that game will be on 1010 KSIR in the Eastern Plains Sports Network. And then on Friday, this Friday the 18th, Good Friday, the Mustangs will play Platte Valley here at Legion Field, and that game will be on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Final line scores. University 12 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and left 8 runners on base. Fort Morgan 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 errors, and they leave 2 runners on base. The sound engineer and producer of Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball is Alec Creighton. I'm Kevin Fergus with the final score University 12, Fort Morgan 2. You've been listening to Fort Morgan Mustang Baseball on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.